All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Waharakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elder bishops, and the elders of the great millstone. And peace and salutations to the hopeful, elect out here toiling in this truth. And Shalom to the few sisters, the Akwathium, that listen and learn in silence. To all of you, I say Shalom. I'm the brother Pathak Amath, GMS Dallas. I'm just coming back at you with a really quick hit lesson. And I'm going to entitle this, Jake Don't Know the Times We're In. You know what I'm saying? And what inspired this lesson is, I just, looking through the chat. Of course, you're just looking around. You watch social media and different, platforms and different things, and you see the mindset, the mind state, or the mindset that the state or mindset that Jake is in, man. And Jake is out of there, man. And I saw something in the chat a second ago where some female is basically, it said throwing ass for votes. You know what I'm saying? And that's what, bro, Jake is through, man. You know what I'm saying? Jake, and don't get it twisted. A lot of Jakes are waking up. You know what I'm saying? But the majority of our people are still asleep, man. They're through, man. They don't get it. You know what I'm saying? They're out here on some madness, man. Still trying to travel. You know what I'm saying? And getting stuck in other countries, and with all the madness and everything that's going on in the earth, man. You still trying to they still trying to live what they knew as a normal life, man. Which those times are over, man. And it's getting worse and worse. It's not gonna get better. You still got Jake trying, man. Trying to hold on, man. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we know these Edomites want to hold on. But come on, man. So Jake don't know the times we're in, man. Which the scripture is clear. That's why it's a beautiful thing to be in this knowledge, man. It's a beautiful thing. So, it is what it is. The scriptures tell everything, man. So real quick, I just want to do a quick hit. I don't want to make this too long, but I got a few precepts I want to bring out real quick. Just to solidify Salaki and make that point. This is Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, and I'm gonna read the first verse, and then I'm gonna drop down. Ecclesiastes 3:1, it says and at the top it says, a time for everything. You know what I'm saying? The Bible has all the answers, man, and there's a time for everything. So verse 1, Ecclesiastes 3:1, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Which this thing is all about the will, pleasure, and purpose of the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? But there's a time and season for every purpose under the heavens, man. You know what I'm saying? Under the heaven. So real quick, this thing is about the purpose, will, purpose, and pleasure of the Lord, man. This is Romans chapter 8 and verse 28, and it reads, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love the Most High, which the only ones that's talking about is the elect, man. His elect, the ones he has cares for. Those that he chose, predestinated or chose before the foundation of the world, man. You know what I'm saying? It says the Most High, to them who are the called according to his purpose. So that's what's going on, man. There's a purpose and season for everything under the sun, but it's all the purpose of the Lord, man. It's his purpose, As a matter of fact, let's get this in too, because this thing is about the will, purpose, and pleasure of the Lord. So let's get this one in Isaiah, the 46th chapter, in verse 10. Isaiah 46:10, and it reads, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. So this thing is about the will, purpose, and pleasure of the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? When you read in Revelation, the 17th chapter, I believe verse 17, it says that he had basically put the thought, as a matter of fact, let me just get it because I'm going to mess it up. Salakia, this Revelation 17 and 17, I believe it's really at the beginning of the verse, is the point. Revelation 17 and 17, it says, for the Most High hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will. His will. He put in their hearts, their lives, their minds to fulfill his will, because that's the only will that matters. This thing is about the will, purpose, and pleasure of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And if you go to what is that? Romans the 9th chapter. As a matter of fact, let's just get it. Romans the 9th chapter, and I believe verse 19. Right. Romans 9:19. It says, "Thou wilt say then unto me, why doth he yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will?" Whose will? The Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh's will, man. Because this thing is about the will, purpose, and pleasure of the Lord. No one has resisted his will. They can't. There's no such thing as free will. It's the will of the Lord. His will, purpose, and pleasure, man. You know what I'm saying? And the scriptures back that we just proved it. You know what I'm saying? So going back to Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, in verse 1, it reads, "To everything there is a season and time to every purpose under the sun," which is the Lord's, Salakia, under heaven, which is the Lord's purpose, man. And when you go through those, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up that which was planted, and you just keep reading, the time to kill, time to heal, time to break down, time to build up, it goes through all these different things. But I want to get to the point in verse 8, because these are the times we're in. This is what's going on. Ecclesiastes 3:8 goes into it. A time to love and a time to hate. Well, when you read in what is that, Matthew, the 24th chapter, it goes into how the love of many is waxing cold, roughly paraphrasing. And when you go into that word, it's psycho. So these people are becoming psychos out here. Ain't no love going to be out here. So we're not in a time of love right now. So obviously, we're in a time of hate right now, because there's a time and season for everything under the sun. So we're in a time of hate. It says a time, Ecclesiastes 3:8, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. What's that? Isaiah 48, I believe. We just done the scripture speak. This is Isaiah 48, and we're going to drop down to verse 22. And what does it say? "There is no peace, said the Lord, unto the wicked." The earth has been given into the hand of the wicked. So ain't no peace coming to these people. That's why all their little peace talks and peace plans are going to shit. That shit going to hell, man. It's all falling apart, man. They can't. Why? Because of the Spirit of the Lord, man. The Lord is making these things happen. As a matter of fact, there's another one in Isaiah, the 57th chapter. Let's get it as well. This is Isaiah chapter 57 and verse 21. And it reads, "There is no peace, saith my Lord," Salaki, "saith my power to the wicked." And the scriptures also say, "When he shall say peace and safety, then shall sudden destruction come upon him." So he going to promise you peace and say and speak peace and say peace and promise peace, which it's not up to them. These dudes are vessels, man, for the Lord's use, man, for his work and agendas, not their own, So ain't no peace coming to the wicked, man. This regime is not going to see peace. I don't care how many peace talks they try to have or talk about or want. It's not happening, man. This place has to go down violently, like the scriptures say, by way of war, man. Thermonuclear destruction is going to destroy this place, man. So ain't no peace to the wicked, man. And that's why all they little peace talks and all that crap is going to hell. Like I said, man, it's falling apart, man. So, yeah, it's not happening, man. This is wartime, man. These devils, we're at the end of these devils' kingdom, and it's wartime, because that's how this place is going to go down, by way of thermonuclear destruction, man. You know what I'm saying? And Jake, they can't discern, man. Especially these females, man, to coin the phrase of my beloved, I believe he's an elder down in New York, Amawan Gabar. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, these females, man, they're through. So Jake has no discernment of the times, man. You know what I'm saying? So real quick, this is Matthew chapter 16. And we'll just start at the top at verse 1 and read down a few verses. It says the Pharisees test Yahushua. It says the Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. Verse 2, it says, he answered and said unto them, red letters, Yahushua speaking, when it is evening, ye say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it will be foul weather. Today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the sign of the times? And the answer is no, they can't, man. The signs of the times, man. You know, remind me of that album by Prince, you know, Sign of the Times. You know, when he went into this rocket ship exploding and, you know, all these different events and things that's happening, and man still wants to fly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no discernment. We get it, you know, the heathen, you know, but you jakes that are chosen of the Lord, man, you know, which we get it. Hey, Isaiah 6, you know what I'm saying? They been blocked by the angel, man, you know, but yeah, Jake ain't got no discernment, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly why, you know, at the end of the day, they're going to lose, man. You know, they can't discern the times we're in, man. You know, we're in a times of hating and war, and love and peace are going to come in the kingdom, man. And we're in a time of hate and war. You know, all kind of madness is happening. These devils are trying to establish their agenda, man. You know, so it's terrible things coming down the pipe. Daniel 12 goes into that, a time unlike any other since there was a nation, man. You know, and you've seen the different, you know, with the drones and the robots and the, you know, AI and all this different stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? And they're setting it all up, man. You know what I'm saying? But Jake is just acting like ain't nothing happening, man. You know, waxing worse out here, man. Hell, even the animals understand judgment, because all these things are going to be judgment of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Those scourges for amendment, man. You know what I'm saying? So real quick, what is that? Jeremiah, the 8th chapter, in verse 7, because even animals understand the judgment of the Lord. Jeremiah 8:7, it says, yeah, the stork in heaven knoweth her appointed times, and the turtle and the crane and the swallow observe the time of their coming, but my people know not the judgment of the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So Jake ain't got no discernment. They don't know when the Lord is judging, man, which scriptures clearly tell you when you read in 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, you know, that the Lord is visiting the earth in which he made, man. We're in those times, man, which when you go into that word visit, it means to punish, man. Judgment. You know, as a matter of fact, Revelation, the 19th chapter goes into it as well. The Lord is about to return and judge and make war, man, with these heathen, man. That's in, of course, Esau and, of course, his left-hand joint heir rulership, man, and take them down. You know, these are the times we're in, man. So you got to have, Salak, you got to have some type of judgment, man. You know, you got to know where we're at in the timeline, man. You know, which Jake don't have it, man. So we'll get one more. Ephesians, the 5th chapter, and we'll start at verse 15. Ephesians 5:15, it reads, see then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, because the majority of our nation are walking as fools, man. They are fools. The Lord ain't dealing with them. You know what I'm saying? He didn't choose them. You know, he's dealing with his elect. That's the wise, man. So it says, see that ye walk circumspectly. When you break that word down, circum is circle. Spectly is specs, like to see. Glasses remind you, and it's called specs. You know, you got different spectacles. You know, you wearing them spectacles represents glasses or to see. You know, so circum, around, circumspectly or spectly, to see around. You know, you should be looking all around you, 360 degrees around, man. That's how you're supposed to be walking. You're supposed to be walking and seeing everything, looking around, noticing these things. And Jake ain't doing it. Jake in that Ezel spirit, la 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 la. Got his head in the sky, in the clouds, and just walking, man. You know, and they're gonna run into some bad things, man. You know, verse 16, redeeming the time because the days are evil. You know, and that word evil broken down is Eve. Time, ill, bad, man. You know what I'm saying? So time bad or bad times. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're in, man. And Jake can't discern it, man. So Jake has no idea the times we're in, man. You know, and it's gonna get Jake caught up and through, man. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, but it is what it is because that's the will of the Lord, man. So, you know, with that, hopefully this was edifying to the hopeful elect, giving all praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahar Kakwadash, double honors to the apostles, the elder bishops, and the elders of the great millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect, the house of David, the Bayath Shah Dawadat. Shalom.